they still are actually, and they encouraged vocal stuff for me and my brother. My brother is incredibly talented. He got a full scholarship to Oberlin on voice, and so we sang a lot when we were growing up. And because his voice is so spectacular, I always had to sing parts. So it's like since like 6, I've been singing parts. So I hear it. I hear it because it's something I have done often. But that's the point, to say that parts are learned. You can learn how to sing a part. You can learn how to hear it if you just practice it often. So that's just the first part. And then, because of my mother, she started voice lessons, I guess the summer before high school. And then we went to Performing Arts High School. And during the summer, our vocal coach was the head of the DC voice choir. So we taught the boys choir during the summer. And then I went to NYU for classical voice. And so I did classical, but then I changed over to music business my sophomore year, but I did an undeclared major in classical voice. So I had classical voice training. Oh, piano, I forgot about piano. My parents are really into music, so we did piano, voice training, really technical theory for a good bit of my life before I decided to be a lawyer, which is another story altogether. But it has stuck with me, and I found it to be helpful in a lot of things. So hopefully some of the things that we talk about today will be helpful for you. All right. So the main purpose. We're all here to serve God because He has called us to this purpose. Not just any purpose, but this purpose, to serve and worship Him. And that's the important part. Remember why we're here, right? And carrying out His purpose, we do it in honor of Him and service to Him. And with the love that Christ expects from us, have fun, do not stress, and let Him lead the way. The following are recommendations, not mandatory. Do as little as much as you can, whatever order works best for you. Smooches, because that's me. That is me. And this is where we are now. Let's just be clear. I think we'll grow, but this is where we are now. So these instructions or recommendations are for now. So first, preparation. The preparation is the key. Look who's serving with you. If you serve with them before, plan your day or strategy based on the team. You know that some people are stronger on parts or not. Some people are switchers. So think about that when you're mapping out your strategy for the day. Assess the songs. Is it known well? Maybe you won't go over it as much because we don't have a lot of time the day of. So just think about which song you want to go over first. Does it have a tricky rhythm? We'll have to sing it a couple of times to make sure we have it down. There's a song coming up, Hosanna, for the choir special. That thing will make your tongue hurt. So you have to, the voice, unlike other instruments, is a muscle. You have to have muscle memory. Email the team members. I've texted team members if I had their text messages. Tell them to keep singing the words and saying the words during the week so that the muscle memory is there so you're not tripping over your mouth the day of. Get the muscle memory on. That's in there, as well as we have. The key, this is a good part of the preparation. Sometimes the key is on Planning Center, sometimes it's not. Thank you for when you guys put the key on Planning Center. It helps us a lot. And thank you also for setting the songs in advance. Hint, hint. Setting the songs in advance because that helps planning as well when they're sent in advance. Listen to it if it's on MP3. But this is the important part. Listen to the parts. Listen to all the parts. Because the day of, as vocal director, you have to make sure that you can sing those parts so you can teach somebody else because we don't have a lot of time. Listen to the parts. Listen to the parts with the band. Because sometimes they are playing a chord that may not go with the part as you hear it in your head. That's crucial. Sometimes when we're sitting here, I'm like, oh, that sounds good with us together, but I'm pretty confident that's not going to go with the band. You have to make sure that you listen to the band parts and sing parts over and over again. What I do during the week is I listen to it in the car and I'm singing over and over again so that I can hear the part, not the melody. Most people know the melody, so I can hear the different parts when I am when we're ready to worship on Sunday. You know this already. You're looking at me.
I'm agreeing.
Let's see. Haven't served with a team member plan around the team member's strengths. We're here to grow and encourage people. If you know a team member has a hard time on a part, make sure you double them with somebody and tell them to listen to that person in their ears the day of on service. Maybe ask them to sing melody for some part, but they can really focus on that one part so that they're growing. They're growing, and this is a growing leadership. This is a growing organization. So think about that. Plan intelligently and like, oh, you know what? I'm going to double that person with somebody because I know that they need help, but they can do it. Don't pigeonhole anybody. Anybody, everybody can grow. Everybody, if they're open to hearing, and that's another thing. People crave direction. This is my management theory coming out. That's the other side of me. People crave direction. If you do it in the love that God expects from us, then people can hear it. So say, look, why don't you focus with that person and get it together? So plan for that. Listen to the harmonies, listen to the parts. Okay, I'm skipping forward. You guys can read. I'm trying to go quickly. Sing the parts over and over again. Okay, now if possible, I know everybody's not a person that can play, but I really do write down the parts. This is again the type A in me. Wait a second, if I can find it. I'm talking about type A and can't even find it. All right, so I try to get a day of picture. I write down, okay, with the worship leader's in charge, by the way, always in charge. Worship leader, you follow the worship leader, you talk to the worship leader. But the day of, I map out. Verse 1, is the worship leader going to sing it by themselves? Or are we going to sing solo? Are we going to sing parts? That's what P is, parts is. If we're going to sing parts, who is going to sing what part? If a soprano is singing the lead, maybe we're just going to be singing alto and tenor. And you have to plan, even though there might be a soprano on team with you, that person may be singing something else, but you got to plan it out so the day of, you're not rushing, you're not trying to think that out. So I literally write this stuff down before I come. That's why I always have paper. I'm a paper person. The other thing I do is I write down the scale for the parts. I used to write down, when I have time, I sit down and the melody might be starting on the 1 of the scale. And then I say, okay, where does the next part start? It might start on the 3 of the scale. So I write down the beginning numbers of the scale for each part, not the melody. Everybody knows the melody. For each part, so then when the day of, if the key changes, then I already have it. I have it written down, I have it mapped out, and then I can say, oh, no, this is the part. Now, not everybody can do that, I understand, but if you have time and you can sit down in front of the piano and do it, it helps you the day of. So this really is about prep. And so, I don't know if you can see, but this is what I'll do, and I'll pass that around. If anybody wants to see it, you can, you cannot. It's all up to you. But that's another part of the planning. Writing down at least the first couple of notes, or memorizing it in your ear so that you can do it the day of. All right, day of. Depending on where you are, you don't have a lot of time. Be flexible. Take everyone as they are the day of. We're all here to worship, people. Don't frustrate people. It's not necessary. We're all here to worship. Worship and God, and if they've practiced and it may not be exactly as you want it to be, it's okay. As long as it sounds right. All right? As long as it sounds okay. So don't waste time the day of. When we start our vocal part, start with the most difficult song and don't even go to the verses. Just sing parts. Just sing parts. Ask them to hear the part so you know what that sounds like. And if you need to tweak something, then you can be like, oh, okay, well, maybe you should sing that. But your preparation before is what will help you when you're at the day of. Okay, so assign parts if it's not already obvious. At the worship leader's direction, map out. I'm pointing to Peggy because she's like, map out which parts are solo, which parts are unison. Make sure your team is clear. People crave direction. If you put it out there at the very beginning, no, they don't have to worry about it later. Everyone starts singing your parts. Work on parts based on your preparation. You can tweak parts when necessary. However, if it sounds right, leave it as is. Let the team member feel, this is important, let the team member sing what's most comfortable for them. If they are struggling that day, again, we're here to worship. We're here to worship. Maybe put them, say, sing with melody, and we'll work next time. You'll make sure you focus on this part. If you have a switcher, I call them switchers, people that can sing parts. Tell the switcher to move over. Or tell that person to sing with somebody else so that they can get their ear developed. But most comfortable is the key. Most comfortable. Don't stress people out. Don't be afraid to stretch someone. If somebody's really got their part and it sounds great, but you can do a little flair to it. They can do a little minor part. They can hold it out. Grow people. Grow them. Let them do that extra step. Kevin did that the other day. One time I was like, "Oh, that's beautiful." That is beautiful. Let them do it because we're all here to grow and learn together. I said pair people already. particularly tell them to put them in their ear. That has helped. Tell them to put them in their ear when they're out there so that they can really hear it. When it's not a joyful noise, because we know it's always, sometimes it's not a joyful noise. When it's really not working, and if the person is trying, again, really try to encourage them. But sometimes you just have to pull that person aside, not in the presence of the other, because that God expects us to do things with love. So you wouldn't want anybody calling you out. Don't call anybody else out either. Pull them aside and say, hey, I know you're working. Encourage them first, encouraging words. I know you're really struggling, but perhaps it would be better if you sing melody on this, or just really listen and focus on a part on this song. Focus on this one song. Get that part down on one song, and then maybe next time they can do 2 songs, and maybe next time they can do 3 songs. So God expects the best of us in worship. So it's hard. It's hard. You don't want to really tell somebody. No one likes to hear they're not doing very well, but we do have to do that. We do have to be the ones to lead and say, hey, you know, I know you're trying, but this isn't working, and this is how you can, what you can do to get better next time. All right, another important part, technique. This is part B of Day Of. Most of our worship leaders are soloists at heart, myself included, but we're an ensemble. We are an ensemble. It's important that we blend with our group, and particularly with whoever's leading. I have a heavy voice. There's no question about it, I have a heavy voice. But I listen to whoever the worship leader is, and I intentionally brighten my tone so that I am blending with whoever's leading. That's what our role is. Our role is not to be little mini soloists standing up there. Our role is to be an ensemble so that we are supporting and leading the worship leader in whatever they do. Stylistically, particularly when we first get on, everybody sings things differently. Listen to the worship leader. If they're going up on a certain word, go up on a certain word. If they're cutting off a word, shortening it, follow the worship leader. Not your own thing. It's the worship leader who's leading everything. So listen to that. Tonally, that's what I said. My voice is heavy, so I brighten my tone. Does anyone understand what I mean by brighten my tone? Okay. Follow whoever's dynamically. This is important. Let's just not be bland. If the worship leader is growing, grow with them. If they're getting softer, I was about to say decrescendo. If they're getting softer, go softer with them rhythmically. Vibrato. So back in the day, I used to sing with a lot of vibrato. I still do when it peaks out. but
and the tremolo.
Yeah. Oh. Really, that's not the style that we sing here. It's not the style that we sing here. So, as the vocal director, encourage people to sing as straight as possible. It's really a matter of technique. Vibrato comes out when you loosen the control of your voice. When you loosen the control of your vocal cords. If you tell them to focus on singing like a balloon, a straight line is coming out, and controlling the vocal cords, they can get the straight tone. So to try to tell them to focus it and control the vocal cords. It's going to take practice. Just like I said, we grow in everything, but that's necessary. All right.
Hey, Nicole, just can you demonstrate the brightness? I think that would be important.
Oh, that's a good. Okay. What's the song you guys sang today that I just loved? Why is in everything turn in my head? In everything turn. That's in my head for some reason. This is something my vocal coach used to say. The proper placement for voice is for it to come up and over through your nasal passages. So I smile to brighten it. In everything turn. In everything turn. Do you hear the difference in the tone? Bring it up and out through the nasal. In and just tell them to smile. It will just happen automatically. In everything turn. There is a season. In everything. It's the same note, same everything, but different tone. Was that, did everybody get that? All right.
You're already smiling when you play. You've been playing this song since you started.
Articulate and sing consonants, please. Someone actually came up to me after service one time. He said, I love it when you sing. I can understand what you're saying. People, they're supposed to be understanding what we're singing, by the way. I was like, wow, what a thing to say. It sounds over-exaggerated, but it doesn't have to be at the end. It could be a soft T, a soft D. But make sure you're articulating so people can understand what God wants us for them to hear. It's important. Sing the correct word. As the vocal director and worship leader work together with the songs, sometimes it could be hallelujah, sometimes it could be alleluia. Consult with the worship leader and say, hey, what you want us to sing? Jehovah, or no, Hosanna, Hosanna. You know, focus on those words during the time so that people are singing together. Again, ensemble, so we're doing that together. Dynamics, additional stuff if you have the time. Please do. That's what makes music. That's what you envision when we go up to heaven and the angels are singing. It's the harmonies, it's the dynamics, it's the rhythms, it's all of that. If you have the time, do that. That's what will help. First of all, God is present. God's Spirit will help lead people into worship. But when you do those additional steps, those things matter. They also will lead people into to worship. So that was a quick fast and the dirty. It wasn't really dirty, but that was the quick and fast. As a vocal director, you have to really, if you have time, know thyself. Because there's sometimes I don't have time to do the preparation. It's really about the preparation. So I'd be like, sorry, I can't be a vocal director because I don't have time. Know thyself. As a vocal director, you've got to put the prep work in to make sure that the day of runs as smoothly as possible. Also, there was one more thing I wanted to say. I can't remember. It just left my brain. But anyway, any questions? Let's go there.